Hi, welcome to this episode of Knowledge Bites. These are stories that coach, and a lot of people have met me and told me that these stories have actually contributed to their life. Today, we talk about Michael, a person who wanted to be an entrepreneur. But this is not about people who want to start their companies alone. It's about employed professionals also who wish to demonstrate an entrepreneurial mindset in the organizations that they work for. And it is fascinating because today organizations actually want the best of their leaders to demonstrate the entrepreneurial spirit. I am a first generation entrepreneur in my family. I was a corporate professional, and then I took on to my journey of entrepreneurship a few years ago. Was it difficult? Yeah, it was, because you're moving from a space of a little uncertainty into a lot of uncertainty. Do I enjoy the journey? Absolutely. If I were to be told to go back to the corporate life as an employee, I would never do that because entrepreneurship is really exciting. This story of Michael is for two sorts of people, two categories of people. One, who are employed professionals who want to emerge in the organization as entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, and a lot of people out there who want to become entrepreneurs and want to really know what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So go ahead, enjoy the story of Michael, and I hope, and I sincerely hope, that the story helps you ignite the spirit of entrepreneurship in you because nations need entrepreneurs because without entrepreneurs, economy will never do well. Go ahead, enjoy the story of Michael. This is a story of Michael who decided to become an entrepreneur after having worked in different organizations and then finally hits a midlife crisis and then decides he's going to own an organization of his own. Was it a startup? Yes, it was. And why did Michael want to get into it? Why did he want to actually leave his career and walk into a space where he wanted to be an entrepreneur? Well, it was just a whim. There is no specific reason why people tend to take the entrepreneurship route, though they would like to give a lot of rationale to what they want to do as an entrepreneur. But very frankly, as an entrepreneur that I am, I can also say with quite a bit of confidence that the seed of entrepreneurship exists while you're very young and it just keeps disturbing you while you're employed. Is it necessary that one has to practice entrepreneurial mindset only by starting our own company? No. Even as an employed professional in an organization, you can actually operate as an entrepreneur. It's so beautiful. The times have changed. Organizations today want their leaders to actively practice entrepreneurial mindset. We need to understand the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur. Businessman makes money. Money is stagnant. Entrepreneurs create wealth. Wealth is fluid. It has life in it. It's a process. It moves. You can have tangible as well as intangible wealth. Money actually is completely intangible because money is abstract, it has some assigned value to it, and a businessman loves to hoard money. So, what do entrepreneurs do? Entrepreneurs keep investing. So, let's understand what does it take to be an entrepreneur? What does it take to develop an entrepreneurial mindset? So, Michael obviously wanted to move into startup. And when I started coaching him, I told him the first thing is, do you have a specific purpose as to why you want to start your business? All entrepreneurs, whether you're employed as an entrepreneur or you start your own organization, there is a seed, there is this edifice that one operates on, which is there is an intense desire to be remembered. I want to leave a legacy behind. I want people to remember me
after I move on. You know, every human being has this whole seed of wanting to be immortal. Entrepreneurship is about leaving that footprint behind and becoming immortal. So, in order to become an entrepreneur or to develop an entrepreneur mindset, you must have a strong desire that you want to be remembered for some unique difference that you made to people or the community that you operated in. So, entrepreneurs tend to tap into their sense of purpose, the cause that they want to work for. And that particular cause they want to work for moves into a space of creating a unique difference for a set of stakeholders with whom they operate, with whom they work together. Ultimately, every entrepreneur is actually contributing to human beings. And even if they're not contributing to human beings directly, they may be contributing through a wire media, which ultimately gives happiness and satisfaction to the human being. This is something a businessman never understands, but entrepreneurs understand that. And therefore, entrepreneurs start their journey by empathizing with their customers. So there is this desire to be remembered, they want to leave a legacy behind, and then there is this desire to make a unique difference to the stakeholders. This takes them to the third part where the cause and the unique sense of difference that they want to make starts getting them into a zone where they invent certain set of products or services or platforms, whatever you may choose to call. And they invent and they consistently innovate. So it's an abstract idea by which they want to contribute to the humanity, and that abstract idea is brought into the tangible realm through an invention or some innovation. For me, invention is something that happens for the first time. Innovation is something that is continual in nature once the invention is done. Now, this invention goes to a point and then it starts stagnating. It doesn't grow, and that's when an entrepreneur scales up and gets into partnerships of co creation, because the entrepreneur suddenly realizes that he alone cannot win in this whole journey of wanting to contribute to people around him or her. So, what did we tell Michael? We said, you know what, Michael, you have this invention, but take this invention out in the market and now connect with different partners who are best amongst the best, and let those partners co-create stuff along with you, because that's going to be the ecosystem that's going to ultimately help you monetize your idea. Co-creation is an essential aspect of the world we operate in today. And once you start co-creating as an entrepreneur, then comes your next orbit of scale up. And what does it mean to scale up? You know, entrepreneurial mindset is all about, can I do better with less? Businessmen don't understand this. Businessmen believe that they have to keep expanding, they have to keep investing, but they never look at scaling up, they never look at a change. As long as the money is coming in, they're happy. But entrepreneurs, like I said, are creating wealth, and therefore they know that they have to constantly recycle wealth. And then what do they do to scale up? They consistently remodel and reinvent their business. And while they scale up, they also have a desire to extensively monetize everything that they do. And therefore, what happens is entrepreneurs typically tend to have a footprint that is quite expansive in nature. Businessmen normally restrict themselves. Entrepreneurs ultimately have a desire to take their creation out in the world so that they're able to contribute to people, as many people as possible. And while that happens, an entrepreneur sits back and says, all right, I made a success in my life. Now, can I create another success? And therefore, what happens is an entrepreneur's journey is so exciting, it never ends, and they consistently reinvent everything that they're doing. So, whenever I have coached people like Michael in entrepreneurship, and the fact that I'm an entrepreneur myself, I always tell them the Trinity is always at work. You're creating, you're sustaining, and you're destroying. You're constantly creating new stuff by empathizing with your stakeholders. You are sustaining whatever gives them happiness. And you're destroying everything that starts becoming obsolete, something that your stakeholders aren't enjoying anymore. The destruction part is something which is extremely difficult for a lot of people because they believe they're the ones who created it and they treat it like their baby and they don't want to get rid of that baby. Entrepreneur makes it big in life. A lot of times I've noticed businessmen tend to decline and decay in their businesses. So, what does it take to become an entrepreneur? You must want to be remembered. You want to leave a footprint behind. You would want to be immortal. I know it's talking something really big, but that's exactly what they want to do. They want to be remembered after they're no longer on the planet. They want to make a huge difference to people, and therefore they bring their idea, their thought into the market with a very strong sense of purpose. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs wind up because they're not fired enough with the sense of purpose. They just want to earn money. But sense of purpose is so powerful that even if there are reversals, and by the time the business goes big, it really, really requires a huge amount of investment of time, energy, and effort. I don't know, but there is an empirical formula: 3 years, 1000 days. 1000 days are required for any business to really kick off. And a lot of people lose patience because they want businesses to become big in a jiffy. They want to put steroids into it, and no business operates with steroids. They invent, they bring their thought into tangibility. Then they move into partnerships and they start co creating so that their invention starts doing a lot better. And then they scale up, they start doing more with less. And while they do that, there is a consistent desire to monetize every idea that they have, every tangible part of the work that they've created. And in order to sustain that monetization, they consistently reinvent. And why do they reinvent and how do they reinvent? The Trinity part: they create, they sustain, and they destroy. And that's what makes an entrepreneur. Michael got into entrepreneurship, and the startup took some time. For 3 years, it was all dry. By the seventh year, something starts happening. By the 10th year, the growth started happening. And by the time he touched 12th year, he was known in the market and he actually started doing well. By the time he moved beyond 12 years, he was looking at expansion. But remember, when I was coaching Michael for this long period of time, he also came up with huge turbulence in his business. And what he learned in that was there comes a time when entrepreneurs also stop reinventing and the business dips to a point where an entrepreneur starts thinking, is it time for me to quit? And then there are two choices. One choice is to close down the business, the other choice is to turn it around. And this is my final input in the journey of entrepreneurship. When the business hits absolute low, and at that point in time, when you reinvent your business, after that, there is no stopping. After that, the business scales up tremendously. Remember, in the journey of entrepreneurship, there comes a time when you will hit bankruptcy after you've done well, because you will keep practicing something and you will become so obnoxiously confident about what you did that you actually stop reinventing. And at that point in time, when you don't quit and that sense of purpose drives you, you actually create a mega organization. This model may actually be my model also in my journey of entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter whether you're working for an organization, or it doesn't matter whether you're a startup, or it doesn't matter what point of life cycle your organization is in, but these 7 parameters or aspects of entrepreneur mindset happen to be a part of every entrepreneur that I have met. So go ahead, practice this model. Either become an entrepreneur within your organization or start up an organization, because nations need entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs create employment. entrepreneurs contribute to the economy of the nation. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you very much for listening to the story of Michael, and I hope one can have a whole lot of Michaels on this planet. Thank you once again.
Welcome back. Story of Michael only tells us that if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, have a very strong sense of purpose. Organizations driven by a strong sense of purpose are bound to do well. Organizations created only to generate money will never do well. Sense of purpose is a whim. It's something that you're extremely passionate about. It's something that you felt you ought to do so that people around you become happy. And entrepreneurs really make people around them happy through their own contribution, the unique contribution, which is their own part of the whim. I have journeyed the process of entrepreneurship. I have enjoyed it. It requires a temperament which can be developed. And I'm not suggesting that everybody starts their own company. But within your own organization, please do help your organization to generate wealth. Be a creator of wealth. Don't be a consumer of wealth in your organization. Understand what it takes to build an organization. Understand the nitty-gritties of managing finances. Understand what it takes to become an entrepreneur or develop the mindset of being an entrepreneur. I hope this story helps you. Feel free to get in touch with me should you want to be an entrepreneur. I would be glad to mentor you in the journey of entrepreneurship. Thank you very much once again for being a part of the journey of Knowledge Bites.